so lemon and I want my money back.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my very first video capture. It's of obviously Fortress Craft. We're going into my world right now. Up front, I would like to say I've had some help with my world from Magic Man. As you can see, this is my spawn, little castle that I first built. As you go into the castle, you can see that I didn't really have a good idea of what I wanted to do at first, so it's a little bit rough. But when you come up here, you can see the lake that Magic Man built for me. And at one time I said, gee, I'd like to have some lake monsters in my lake. I looked down, and lo and behold, he had made these guys. They're called the Manchas. That's what the sign at the beginning was about. These are the Manchas, so beware the Manchas. As you can see, the Manchas have laid eggs, and soon there will be more of them. So continuing on into my world, what we're coming up to right now, as we go around the castle along the moat, is the stairs down to the Sphinx and the Wizard's Tower. Usually I fly around with my jetpack, much easier, but I wanted to do this on ground level, show you what it was like to walk through all this stuff. So here we are, and I discovered something I did not know. You cannot jump up from water if you're wearing your water walking boots. You have to be on solid ground to jump. I did not know that. So now we're on the King's Highway, and I filmed this at night, and so you don't get quite the feel of the size of this road. But this is one of the Archer's Towers. This is the only one I've built, but it's not the only one that will be built. Here are the Archer's beds. And we go back down, you can see their little table where they eat. And of course they have this ledge. They can look out onto the whole valley and shoot any bad guys. So now we're going to continue down the road. As you can see, this road goes a long way. Oops! Oh, look at that! I missed a block. Fill it in. Alright. Now, I did most of this work on the road, the flat part itself, with a keyboard, but the extra stuff was all done by hand. But this is where I first learned how to use the keyboard, was making this road. Really speeded things up. So now we come to the King's Castle. As you can see, down there is a moat, and we come to the first gate and the two gatehouses and the gate itself. As we walk under, we can see the murder holes where the defenders of the castle would throw rocks and boiling oil down on anybody passing through the gate that they didn't want to come through the gate. So then we go into the first gatehouse. Not a lot of detail in this gatehouse. Again, this is a work in progress. These gatehouses may or may not get extra stuff. It all depends. You know, when new blocks come out and things like that, be working more on it. But as you can see, the gatehouses are connected by that area there. You can get from one gatehouse to another, and we look from this gatehouse to the big gatehouse, and now we're going to go up there. This is a second tower. I'm really going to go down into it. There's not a lot of detail there. So now we are going up to the walls of the inner bailey and the main towers. Again, this tower doesn't have any detail yet because this is such a huge project. I'm just trying to get the basic structures done and some of the more interesting buildings. So as you can see, it's really, really big. Now here is the first gate tower. That's a ballista. It's a little easier to tell what it is from the air. But like I say, I wanted to do this on the ground. So we go down in here, and lo and behold, here are where the guards sleep. Many bunk beds in this room. As you can see, there are a lot of guards who live in this tower. Then we'll go down. And obviously here's the table where they eat. Nice salad on the table. And then we'll come back out into the inner bailey. And here you see the main castle building, but I'm going to go into the next gatehouse and show you it's exactly the same layout but different colors and stuff like that. And when, like I said, when they come out with the new blocks, I'm really going to add more levels of detail to this, but these are, excuse me, some of the most detailed buildings right now that I have. Now the two gatehouses, just like the small gatehouses, are connected, but in this case they're connected by an area that's covered up. So that was the gatehouses. Come back out again. And just to give you a quick idea of what it's like to go from the outside to the inside, here I'll move back out. Now you see the towers of the big gates. As you walk under them, it's quite daunting, these huge doors, and there above you the murder holes, where anyone who was trapped between the two doors would be instantly killed by boiling oil, arrows, and stones thrown on them. Now we walk into the main portion of the castle and the throne room. As you can see, I left the ceiling unobstructed. You can see all the way up to the ceiling. Massively huge room and the throne before us. Now we're going into the captain of the guards quarters. He's quartered in one of the round towers. Again, this tower has not yet been furnished. It's a little more finished with the walls, but no furnishings yet, simply because it's a lot of time involved in making this stuff, and it's a work in progress. But there will be furniture, I promise. So now we come up to the areas where the guards would actually come during an invasion if the castle were being sieged. This is where they would come to help protect the main part of the castle. And supplies would be kept up here, so on and so forth. That's why these are undecorated rooms, because they're not really being used for living. During the normal course of a day, there probably wouldn't even be anybody there, but during a siege, boy, those archers would be up in those windows, firing down on anybody coming through the gates. So now we're at the top. Now, one thing that I did try to do was make it so that these towers were tall enough you could see from one part of the bailey to another. Huge areas, so when someone's looking down on there, they can see anybody coming. And if you needed to get to one part of the castle quickly to defend it, there are these passageways which go to the next part of the castle. The walls of the castle are huge, and you can go from one part to another. Now this tower is obviously just a shell, because I haven't had time to fill it in. So we're just going to jump down here and go back into the main part of the castle. Now we're behind the throne, as you can see. And there's that doorway for the chamberlain to go in and out of and talk to the king. One of these towers over here will probably be for the chamberlain. This building, coming off of the main throne room, is obviously the dining hall. I put the table and the chairs down just to give you an idea. Oh, that's what that is. So now I'm going to fly up and fly above the castle and kind of try and give you an idea of the scale here, because this thing, to me anyway, is massive. I have seen other people's constructions. They have huge things built. Some of them rival this castle for sure, but when this castle is done, as you can see, it is going to be huge. I've tried to keep in mind what a real castle is supposed to do, how it's supposed to work, and the level of detail is just going to get more and more refined as I do more work. So that is the castle in my world. You can see the moat that I'm slowly building around it as I build new areas. Maybe next time I go into the world, I'll kind of finish up that moat. Now that it's daylight, I'm going to get back down on the road, and as you can see, wow, that's a long road. It goes on and on and on and on, and you never think you're going to get to the end of it, and then you finally, whew, boy, we're at the Archer's Tower. This must be the end of the road. Here we are, end of the road. I'll fly up a little bit, look around, one last look at the Sphinx, the Wizard's Tower, that nice hedgerow that Magic Man made for me. One of the reasons I started the film at night is because I love the way the world glows at night. And here's my castle next to my spawn. There, the lake with the wonderful manchas that Magic made for me. It was so funny when I looked down and all of a sudden there were those lake monsters there, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And so we made the sign, he and I together, beware matcha. And if you're wondering where matcha comes from, watch the movie Caveman with Ringo Starr. You'll understand. So that's my world. Hope you liked it.
Life is a lemon and I want